Started with sand expanding, building with Metaverse brand, immersed in central land, and TCG world expanding, creating worlds expanding. Each month give away 10 grand. Storm riders, and fans. Submit your started with the game jam, now you want go. 10K at first, but now you wanna know. Wanna work in the Metaverse, tell you where to go. Bear, make it through the sandstorm, that's a really pro. Get your target, get your assets on the market. Bully bulldoze in the bear market. That's the magic, that's the carpet. Here comes Sandstorm for the artists. Sandstorm, yeah. Started with sand expanding, building with Metaverse brand, immersed in central land, and TCG world expanding, creating worlds expanding. Each month give away 10 grand. Storm riders, and fans. Submit your big old hand. Submit your bid, get your wallet lit, your artist audience, and build your client lit. Your target, get your assets on the market. Bully bulldoze in the bear market. That's the magic, that's the carpet. Here comes Sandstorm for the artists. Yeah. Started with sand expanding, building with Metaverse brand, immersed in central land, and TCG world expanding. Land's getting scarce out there, oh yeah. Better buy land than a bear, yeah. Could be your brand / chance, get out there. You can stake on your land, your community your land while you earning. Yeah, game making 8.0 coming out real soon, we gon' learn it. Streaming videos in the Metaverse, got my wheels, got the best artists in the industry working. Travel through the sandstorm, it was worth it. Your collection will be perfect with the Sandstorm Metaverse building person.
Well, welcome back to the SandStorm Meetup. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that. That got me all hyped up. Yeah, shout out to that song right there. That was amazing. But today we are joined by Skylark from Legends of Elysium. Skylark, how you doing?
Hey, great to be here. Thank you for this invitation. So great to be here, basically.
No, yeah. Hey, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Before we get into Legends of Elysium, I want to know a little bit about you. Tell me about how you got into the Web3 space and what role you play on the Legends team.
Okay, so for the second part of the question, I'm Marcin Skowroński, actually the CEO and one of the 5 founders. And for the first part, I got to crypto back in 2014. I've heard about Bitcoin and blockchain in 2013. I've been, reading about it. I was a little bit skeptical. I saw this first bull run, let's say, or one of the first ones, and then I decided, okay, let's dive deeper into it. And since then, for a few years, I've been for the last several years, I've been quite active in crypto space, and actually with other founders we met a few years ago. We've been researching and investing in those early projects at the early stages. We created our own VC. And at some point, we saw that there is this gap in the market, because the gaming on the blockchain was created, but all of the games kind of didn't offer the high quality that we know from the traditional gaming. They didn't focus on the entertainment aspect, which is, in our opinion, the most important aspect of the game. Because if the game isn't fun, no one is going to play it. But they just focus on this earning aspect. And when it came to quality, it didn't really, the quality wasn't there if you compare it to traditional. It was more like back in the 90s of the traditional gaming. So we wanted to close this gap, basically.
Yeah. Nice. And I guess my next question was going to be, does anyone on the team have a background in gaming? I guess what was the idea of doing a blockchain game?
Okay, so all of us are gaming fans, gaming enthusiasts, and me personally, and 2 other founders are board game geeks and card game geeks as well. So when we came with the idea of bringing a game to the blockchain, we had several ideas for the game itself, and we explored different areas, different spaces before we came up with the idea of Legends of Elysium as it is right now. But for the gaming aspect, I'm a huge geek. I've been playing games. My first card game was Magic the Gathering. That was when I was like 7 years old. So since then, I've explored hundreds, if not thousands, of different card games and board games. and I know that two of our founders had a similar journey. Not particular maybe in the board game part, but one of them was also in the traditional gaming side, where he was also designing the whole graphical part for some of the games.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned esports a lot throughout your white paper and on your website and stuff, so we'll get into that later. But the main focus of the game, it is a strategic play to earn card game that is built on Unity. I guess if you want to talk about, I guess, the general basics of the game, what is a strategic card game?
Okay, so when you think about trading card game, probably you think that you play the cards on the table and that's it, basically. So if you are familiar with games like Catan or Neuroshima Hex or maybe Heroes of Might and Magic, there is this battlefield made out of hexes so in our game, when you play the card that is a unit, you actually play it on the board, and then you can move it around, you can attack your opponent, you need to get to your opponent's hero and destroy him. So this is the strategic element, because when you play the card on this board, it brings you basically infinite possibilities on the battlefield, because each card have different skill. There are special fields on the board. So depending on your strategy, you may want to occupy those special fields to get some bonuses, or you may want to pursue your opponent to destroy him as soon as possible, and so on and so on. So because of this movement aspect that we bring, and we haven't seen anything like this, not only on like crypto gaming market with card games, but also in traditional gaming market. So this kind of aspect of a fusion of those two genres, we believe this is something fresh, and it brings totally new gameplay to players all around the world, basically.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it definitely adds a lot more thinking and a lot more strategic power to play than, I mean, even regular card games take, whether you're playing, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, whatever, take a lot of thought process. But when you start adding, the different aspects of not just thinking about what your cards are doing, but, how they're moving around the game board, definitely adds for a lot of strategy. It's a free-to-play browser game, correct?
Yes, exactly. It's free to play because, in our belief, Web 3 adoption among Web 2 gamers was kind of blocked, because all of those early games required players to buy expensive NFTs to start playing and so on. That's why we're offering something completely free to play. So you can basically create your account and you can start playing. And that being said, since our target are not only Web3 gamers, but we also want to speed up blockchain adoption among Web2 gamers, we want to be as friendly for those communities as possible. That's why, of course, Web3 gamers can log in with MetaMask. But what about those, Web2 gamers? They have no idea what is MetaMask, and it's like a barrier for them that is blocking them from trying different games in the blockchain space. So that's why in our game, players can log in, for example, with Google, with Facebook, in some other methods that they are familiar with. So there's no barrier for the entry. They just create the account. Once they create the account, they get free deck of cards and they can start playing. So this is basically the aspect. And another thing is that we don't want to force them to interact with the blockchain. So when they play the game, they don't have to do any interactions. They don't have to buy NFTs, mint NFTs, or anything like this. But we give everyone an option to do that. So that being said, you have a legendary card, let's say, and you want to sell it. So you can just go and mint it at any time you want. And we believe that when we enroll those Web2 gamers, they will become curious. What is this minting, for example?
Yeah.
There will also be, in-game quest or achievement to be completed that will say mint your first card, for example. So they will become curious. We will educate them. What does it mean to mint the card? What are the benefits of the NFTs? And so on and so on. So we're planning also, to increase blockchain adoption among gamers through our game. Hope that makes sense,
No, yeah, I love that, because I agree with you. One of the biggest, hurdles within, the Web3 space and blockchain is onboarding people, because it is so complicated. MetaMask is not an easy thing. If you try to set up some Web2, gamer that has no idea about blockchain or MetaMask, they're going to think their whole bank account's getting stolen. So yeah, I like, you onboard them to the game. They're like, yo, this game's pretty fun. And you're like, wait, you can play this game and collect these cards and earn money from them. I got to set up a MetaMask. They're going to start Googling, researching, figuring out how to set it up. Next thing you know, they're embedded in the Web3 space. So that is an awesome way to onboard. I think, not a lot of games are actually doing that.
Yeah. Thank you. And another good thing with that is that we're planning to have implemented a solution where they log in through Google, let's say.
Yeah.
The wallet is being created automatically for them, underlying and connected to their Google account, and it's non-custodial, so they have full access of it, and they don't need to remember any seed phrases or anything like this. So they don't even have to Google what is MetaMask. They can just start interacting with the blockchain right away without
even doing MetaMask.
Yeah, without doing MetaMask or any other, complicated wallet. They can just stick to the simple solutions.
Wow. That's really cool. I think I'm excited to see how all that works and the onboarding process, because that's definitely what we need is more people onboarding onto these Web3 games. And speaking of onboarding, you guys, I read that you mentioned to you plan on doing a mobile game and also bringing it to desktop as well. Is that something that you're planning on doing like way down in the future?
Well, first we focus on our MVP. That will be the web-based version, as you mentioned. And we are getting close to having MVP. So at the moment we have private alpha, which is only for internal testing among the team and some professional testers.
Yeah.
So we are eliminating all of the bugs that we spotted, adding features on top of that, and so on. And once we finish that, we plan to move to the next phase, which will be the closed beta.
Yeah.
The closed beta, we are expecting it to be in Q1 of next year, and that will be already available for a broader community. So there will be probably at start 500 to 1,000 spots for the closed beta to join. And with time, we may increase that number. And after that, of course, the open beta will go. That will be around Q2 of the next year, most likely. And around that time, we're planning to start developing the mobile version, let's say. Maybe a bit earlier. We'll see how it goes with the development, of course. So we expect mobile version development to go around 3 to 6 months, let's say, because all of the underlying mechanics are there already. We just need to, since we're building on Unity, we just need to tweak up the UX for the mobile, the UI, which would be quite a big part. So once we have this, all of the features of the game are there. So that shouldn't take us, let's say, longer than 6 months for the first mobile version to be released. And of course, the similar story with the desktop version. Although with the desktop, it should be relatively easier than mobile because we don't have to make so much adjustments. So desktop would probably require us for like a month of work. So also somewhere in the next year, we should expect both mobile and desktop versions.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, because there's millions and millions of mobile gamers. Although the mobile, applications, recently we've seen with Apple, with Elon Musk and Twitter, Coinbase and Apple, they blocked their wallet because they wanted to take 30% of gas transactions on like NFTs that were bought and sold. So yeah, it's definitely scary dealing with Apple. Hopefully, they get all that figured out.
Yeah, actually, that was also one of the reasons why we started from the web-based game rather than mobile. Because at first we were considering let's go with mobile because 90% gamers do mobile. But considering how it works with Google and Apple, we decided to start from the web one. And then since the transition and conversion is quite easy with Unity, we decided to go with mobile later when we already know what is the situation. But probably our game would have to be a little bit tweaked to fit those Google Play and Apple requirements, etc. Yeah.
Now moving on more into the actual game. There's 3 different races currently that you can be: either a human, an orc, or a dark elf. What are the differences between these races, and how do you determine which race you are? Do you get to pick, or is it just random?
It's a great question. So when you first log into the game, when you first create your account, you get to choose. So first you will choose your race, for example. So you can pick from those 3 races. Each of them gives different bonuses. So in on the cards, as you can see right now on the screen, there is a cost in mana, and below that there's like requirement in different lands. So on this card there is forest and farmland. So different races give bonuses to cards that have different lands as a requirement on them. So for example, orcs would give bonus to units associated with mountains, where dark elves with forest and humans with farmland. So that depends on which race you choose at the beginning. You would be going towards that direction of units, let's say. Another aspect that you would pick is the class. So first you enter the game, you choose the race, then you move to the next screen, you choose one of the 3 classes. So of course each class have different skill. Like warrior would give you bonus to health, for example. Archer allows you to play 1 extra hex at the start of the battle, and mage would enable you to start the battle with 1 extra spell card in your hand at the start of each skirmish. As you can see right now. So this is the screen of choosing the different class.
Yeah. And do you guys plan on adding more races and more classes as you progress?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, we are starting with 3, but we already have like drafts and plans of 12 races ahead.
Oh, wow.
So this is like a long-term development plan that we have. The next few are already drafted. Some of them are already designed even, or are being designed. So yeah, this is a long-term plan, and definitely we want to bring more. We just wanted, we had to start somewhere. So we decided to start with those 3 and then just add more with the expansions that we already planned as well. Because we have those game boards where the battle takes place. So those will also be added as the new races are being added. So at the start we have 1 board, for example, but with new expansions there will be additional boards that will have different shapes and different special fields and stuff like this. So players will have to adjust their strategy accordingly to the board where they are playing, for example.
You're able to change what race you are, right? Like, say if me and you were going up against each other in a tournament and I knew that you love to play on the farmland, I could change to a human.
You cannot change the hero that you have, but under 1 account you can have multiple heroes. So you can just go to the hero settings, and there you have button create new hero, and then you will go through the process of creating a hero again. But of course the new hero that you create will be on level 1, and your other hero could be, for example, or level 20, or however how many experience you got, then whatever level that was. So you can have multiple heroes, but you cannot simply switch suddenly from orc level 50 to human level 50. So because heroes will also be NFTs. So if you train your hero to level 50, at some point you can sell it if you want to. We want to enable true ownership of all of the in-game assets that you get, basically. So if you are leveling the hero, it's your right to do with it whatever you want. If you want to sell it, you can simply mint it and sell it on the secondary marketplace. And of course this goes for other assets that you can get in game as well.
So the levels transfer over, correct? Like if I sell a level 50, the person gets a level 50. They don't start back over. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool, and that kind of moves us into the next thing that I want to talk about. Is you guys are doing a play to earn. I'm assuming that's going to be one of the main ways to earn is through leveling up classes, because I have friends who play Destiny and games like that, and they have to get max light level on every single class that's in the game. And when I go play, I'm like, I don't want to sit there and rank up a class. I wish I could just buy one. So yeah, I guess that's going to be one of the main ways people can earn, correct?
It's one of many ways, let's say. Let's say that's one of the most profitable ways. Because in the game, we have multiple ways of earning. First of all, there would be daily quests. So daily quests would be giving some amount of tokens, not very significant one, I'd say small amount of tokens, but more people can do it, and quests are quite simple. So let's say the first 1,000 people who complete it would be getting this small reward for doing the quest. Then on another side, we have a mode called League. So League is basically a ranked game that are happening over the whole week. And you are competing with each other. Whenever you win, you get ranking points. Whenever you lose ranking points, of course. And then at the end of the week, we have the leaderboard, and top players will get the share of the rewards. So since this is this weekly ranked mode, the higher level you have, the stronger hero you get, of course. Yeah. So that gives you this advantage here, as well as with the cards. But of course, skills matter as well. And then besides that, we have a tournament mode. So tournament mode is like this big esports event that we're going to host once a month. The best part is that anyone can join if you want to. You can either win the entry ticket by participating in different competitions, or you can simply buy entry ticket from the in-game store. So the entry ticket will be like a small ticket fee, and then you can join and compete with the professional players, professional teams, and everyone else for the grand prizes once a month. And it will be hosted with streaming live of the semifinals and finals, professional commentators, and so on and so on. And the best part of those tournaments is that everyone has equal chance. Because when you join the tournament, you will be creating your deck using the draft mode. So if you're familiar with card games, you know what draft mode is, right? You see, for example, 3 different cards, you pick one of them, then you see another 3 cards, you pick another, and that way you're creating your whole deck. So this approach gives everyone equal chance, and this will be one of the tournament modes that we have planned. Of course, there will be also different tournament modes that would enable you to play with your own deck, and so on and so on. But we believe that this one with the draft mode will be the most popular among the players, because whether this one basically shows who has the true skill, because everyone has equal chance to play, so only the best players will win.
I was gonna ask now, in any of these, earning aspects, does your hero level help you at all? Like, I guess when you go into the tournament, does your hero level matter at all?
Of course it matters, because hero level, the higher you get, first of all, the more health points you will have. So on level 1, for example, that's still, we're tweaking it during the alpha, but let's say at the start on level 1 you have 20,000 health points of your hero, and at level 50 you may have, for example, 30 or 35 or 40,000 health points. So you have, of course, advantage in the matter of health points, at least. So that gives you this edge. And of course, there will be some other aspects as well that change, because the higher level you have, the more bonus to attack. For example, if you're orc will get additional bonus as orc hero will get additional bonus as they level up. So on level from 1 to 5, you will have a bonus, let's say, of 50 attack points to your mountain units. But at level 50, you would have a bonus of 1 plus 1,000, for example. Yeah, those numbers are, I'm just making them up at the moment because we're still tweaking it. But basically, the higher level you have, the bigger bonus your units will have for that particular land type.
Yeah, I guess the reason why I wanted to know is, do you guys plan on doing any type of lending system to where, say if I had, max level heroes, but for whatever reason I couldn't play in this week's esports tournament, would I be able to lend my hero out to somebody to play under him?
That's a great question. So for the heroes, we do not have the lending system yet. Well, we will start with the lending system for the cards. So if you have, let's say, legendary card and you don't play with it because it doesn't align with your strategy, but you don't want to sell it, you can simply stake it, actually. So when you stake the card, you'll be getting rewards from the treasury. So it doesn't matter if you find someone who rents it out or not. You just put it in staking on our platform and you get the rewards automatically. But the card that you put for staking is visible for other players, and they can rent it out at any time and they can use it for the time being. So whatever they pay goes back to the treasury. Yeah, so this kind of solution enables you to start earning immediately as soon as you stake the card, and you don't have to worry about finding someone who wants to rent the card and play with it, because we take care of that through our platform.
Yeah, you just go to the pool and see what cards are available.
Yeah, exactly. But for the lending of heroes, we're actually talking to some projects that are building this kind of solutions for guilds. So maybe not within the game, but through one of our partners, players will be able to rent out their heroes at a later stage.
Nice, awesome. And back to you mentioned that there was a daily quest that you could do. Is there? If I have like 5 different heroes, can I do that daily quest on each 5 heroes?
No, it's actually connected to your account. So so you can only make one daily quest. But regarding the quests, your earnings from the quest also depend on your level. So the higher level you have, the bigger multiplier for the quest reward you will get per day.
Okay.
So that also impacts the earnings. The higher level you have, the more earnings you get.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And I guess one of the biggest aspects of the game that I want to ask is, the cards. How do you get the cards? You guys do, packs that people have to open, or do you guys do specific mints, or do people earn them from playing the game?
So actually, there are all of the ways, let's say, that you mentioned. So the main way would be opening the card packs. And there will be different types of card packs. So at start, we'll have standard and premium.
Mm-hmm.
So standard would be unlimited, but they give you a small chance of getting, the legendary cards.
Yeah.
And there will be a limited number of premium card packs that would be giving you higher percentage chances of doing those. But of course, you never know what you're going to get from the card pack. And, as a card game fan, I always found it exciting when I bought, a new card pack, and then I'm opening it and I'm checking if there is like a legendary or epic and so on. So this is the main way of getting the cards. But besides that, there will be some other ways of getting particular cards. For example, we have adventure mode, which is actually a single player campaign mode, where players can learn the history of different races, of different characters, and dive deeper into the lore and story itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that there is a huge community who is enjoying a good storyline. That's why we're building it. And as a reward for completing this adventure mode, you will be getting a card that will be only available to get by completing this particular adventure. So that's another way of getting. Besides that, we're planning to have a Genesis limited card sale, where 3 of the cards will be available for sale, and they will be limited. So the total amount of those 3 cards will be 500 in total. So one of them will be 200, another around 200, and one of them will be only 100 copies. And that will be the only way of getting them, for example.
Yeah.
So this kind of actions also will be, present, and we're planning them. But the main way would be through those card packs that players can either buy or win in game. Because for completing different quests or achievements and so on, you can also get those card packs.
Awesome. Yeah, and I like that you're doing, the early drops to kind of give back to the people that are the early adopters and have been in the community since the beginning. So that is awesome little thing to have, down the future, 2 years from now, you're like, I got the week 1 drop card. Like, what, dude, you've been here since the beginning. With play to earn, obviously, in the Web3 space, we have seen, you mentioned a lot of games came and focused really heavily on the earning aspect. What do you guys plan to do different? I guess to stabilize the economy, because I think the problem that we would see, like you said, is obviously, if people like your game, they're going to play it whether they're earning or not. But a lot of people play, and then when the token crashes, they're like, well, I'm not earning anything, so like I'm not going to play anymore. Do you guys have any plans to kind of stabilize the economy of the game?
Yes, of course. Actually, before we started developing the game itself, we spent a few months designing the whole economy of the game, running different simulations and analysis to ensure that what we are planning to build makes sense.
Yeah.
So that being said, first of all, the play to earn indicates that people who are playing the game playing to earn it. So we prefer to use play and earn, because earning is additional feature that some of the players may use, but some will not care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we are focusing on this entertainment part of the game and delivering high quality game that is simply fun to play. So since we are targeting Web 2 gamers alongside with Web 3, we believe our economy will be sustainable in the long term. And to ensure that, we have implemented multiple mechanisms inside our treasury system. So for example, whenever players are making purchase in our token within the game, part of the tokens will be going to the treasury.
Yeah.
And then in the treasury, it's going to be divided into different pools. So first of all, 1% will go to a separate pool called burning. And the burning pool, of course, as the name says, those tokens will be designated for burning, but the community will decide when to burn it and what percentage of this pool should be burned. So, as a result, the token will become deflationary. Another aspect is that the tokens that go to the treasury are going to be divided to separate pools. So there is a different pool for daily quest rewards, another for league, for esports tournaments, staking. In the future, there will be a separate pool for the guilds, for the Guild Wars expansion. And then the last one is the reserve. So reserve will be used for different kind of events and so on. And the best part is that when the tokens go to this treasury, they are not going to be released the following day, but they are going to be gradually released. The first part will be released the following month, and then gradually released over around a year of time. So this delayed gratification mechanism makes it self-sustainable in the long term, because all of the rewards that go back to the treasury are not going to be released immediately the next day or the next month, but are actually slowly being released over a longer period of time. And that flattens this curve and ensures self-sustainability of the whole ecosystem. But of course, as long as there are players that are playing the game.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And, I guess before we talk more about the token and the different utilities that it has, you mentioned the burning of tokens, and it made me forget a question, I guess, that we're seeing on screen here, where you can craft and burn cards to get magic dust. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So magic dust is this, let's say it's this virtual currency within the game only, that players can obtain only by playing the game itself. So you cannot buy it. You can only obtain it by spending, time in the game, advancing, winning the games, and so on. And the dust we implemented it as a reward system for those Web 2 gamers who don't really care about earning the token, etc. They just want to earn something in game, have some benefits from it, purchase custom avatars and stuff like this within the game. So with Dust, players will also be able to purchase certain items. Some of the items will be exclusively only purchasable using the Dust itself. Besides that, whenever you burn the card, you will be getting Dust in return, and you will be able to craft new cards using the Dust as well. So of course, if you burn one card, you will not be able to immediately burn card of the same rarity for the dust you get. You will have to burn, let's say, 4 cards of this rarity in order to have enough dust to craft a new one. But at least this allows you not only to wait for your luck to give you the certain card you want, but you can take the destiny in your own hands and and craft the card that you actually want. Mm-hmm. If you have enough dust, that's the main aspect of it. And for minting the cards, we're also planning to implement a small fee in dust as well, to ensure that the market is not spammed with, let's say, common cards, but players will be choosing wisely which cards they actually need to mint, and want to sell. Because at the moment we see that there is a lot of cards on the market from not only cards but other assets on the blockchain that are not being used and are kind of worthless, and no one cares about them. Mm-hmm. So we want to avoid that, adding to that worthless, let's say, items that are available on the market.
I agree. And like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the token. I know, I don't want to get deep into all the tokenomics and stuff, but you guys are going to have your own token, the LOE token. And I guess, what are some different utilities that the token will be used for?
So for the utilities, we have planned quite a lot. So let's start from the basics. So for example, our token will be used, of course, in our in-game store. So players will be able to purchase different assets within the store. So they can purchase those card packs, premium card packs, game boards. What is worth mentioning, game boards are all free to play, but there will be a limited number of game boards in a form of NFT. And only whitelisted players will be eligible to buy it, because those game boards will be giving some extra benefits. So only the players who deserve it, let's say, will be whitelisted. So they would have to be very supportive for the whole ecosystem, and that would be their reward for doing that and supporting us. Another aspect is increasing the hero level. And by saying that, I mean that, of course, players need to get enough experience before they can level up their hero. But once you have enough experience to level up your hero, you'll have to spend small amount of the tokens that you have in order to increase the level. Alternatively, you can use the dust. So it's up to you which one you prefer. Another aspect would be placing the tokens in mines. And this is an interesting aspect, because this allows players to further tweak their strategies. For example, on each board, we're planning to have up to 3 different mines that will be tweaking different abilities of the cards. So let's say there is a mine that increases health of ranged units. So players can put their tokens in one of those 3 mines, either health of ranged units or flying unit attack, or let's say extra mana per turn. They can accordingly assign those tokens to different mines and tweak those abilities. And the best part is that you will have to choose wisely, because you cannot assign tokens 100% tokens to each of the mine. There is like a limit. So you could, spread them 30%, 30%, 30%, or maybe you prefer to have more in one of the mines and you disregard the 2 others, and so on. So on the battlefield, this would tweak different abilities, and depending on your strategy, gives you, infinite possibilities to adjust it. And we really love this feature. And for the other aspect, of course, that's the payments in the marketplace, because we have built-in marketplace where players can trade their assets with other players. And of course, the payments would be in our token. Like you mentioned before, to produce the cards, there will be dust and token required. So that's another use. Another aspect of the token would be the governance. So we are creating the game for the players. So that being said, we value the opinions of our community. That's why we want to implement the governance system. And players, we have a real say about the future direction of the development of the game. So I mentioned those expansions that we plan. But actually, once the token is live, we will be giving the choice to our community. So they will be able to decide which race should be developed for the next expansion, for example. And other significant stuff like this will be consulted with the community, and they will be able to share their opinion, and based on the results, we will be actually developing whatever they want us to develop. So this is something very important for us. And at the same time, we know that the current governance systems are kind of flawed, because whales get the biggest vote. That's why in our game, we will have a system that requires you to play the game in order to have 100% strength of the vote. So we don't have the final percentages yet, but let's say you have tokens, but to have 100% voting power from the tokens, you need to be active player to have 100% of the voting power. And on the other side, if you don't have the tokens, but you are a very active player, you would get up to 50% of the voting power as well. So this is this dual mechanism that ensures that the active players get higher voting chance, because after all, we're making the game for the players and not for the whales who don't play the game.
That's smart. I was literally just about to ask you if there was any type of limit to how someone can vote, because any DAO that I've been voting in, it's always the whales who's just they control the whole entire vote, and it's like, does my vote even matter? But no, the fact that you're listening to the players that are actually contributing and playing the game is definitely awesome. Is there do you guys plan on adding any type of wager mechanism to where I guess you could wager tokens on a skirmish?
That's a great question. We actually have a battlefield mode which I didn't mention. So Battlefield mode is like a mini tournament mode. Let's say you have a room with 8 players. Each of them pays entry fee of, let's say, 10 tokens.
Yeah.
And then the whole, stake would be 8 times 10, which is 80, for example. And then they fight with each other. And then the top player would get 50% of those tokens. The second player would get, let's say, 30, and the third one, 20%. So with this mini tournaments, players will be able to actually wager the tokens and win 2 times, 3 times, or even 4 times, or even more of the tokens that they paid for the entry fee, for example.
Yeah.
And the best part is that they will be able to do it not only with our token, but also with USDC, for example. So they don't have to be stuck with our token. They can do this with USDC if they wish to. So that opens possibilities for them. And of course, there will be different rooms in those battlefields. So you can have a small room of 2 people simply. So you play 1 versus 1, and the winner gets the reward. Or you can have bigger rooms with like 4, 8, or 16 people, where you compete for a higher prize, for example.
Awesome. That should be that could be a lot of fun. Someone's talking trash, you get a little stream going and have a one-on-one. Put your money where your mouth is.
Definitely, I love that idea.
Yeah, and I did want to ask you, speaking of streaming and stuff, do you guys have any plans, when your guys' full game launch to kind of, I guess, to market the game, to get it out there? Do you plan on reaching out to any YouTubers, any current card game, I guess, live streamers, or do you plan to go to any live events such as like a PAX East or West, or anything like that?
Yes, actually, we are, before, of course, the game launches, when we are ready, before we start the proper marketing campaign, we will also enable those Web2 native streamers and professional players to actually start playing our game in the late closed beta, or in the beginning of open beta, to get also their feedback, but also so they can stream to their communities. And we are already in touch with a few professional players. We get some feedback from some of the very good players, professional players that played Hearthstone, for example, and some other card games. So yeah, definitely, we've been like consulting our game with them since the beginning. Let's say since we created GDD, which is, I'm not sure if you or the audience is familiar. GDD is the document that you create based on which the game is being created. So it describes all of the mechanics of the game and all of the aspects of the game. And based on that, developers actually develop the game. So yeah, we've been in talks with professional players and professional teams already, and many of them are eager to start playing as soon as we actually get the working closed beta with most of the features implemented.
Yeah. And Lord Ken Wolf said in the chat, loving the artwork, which I do agree. You guys have some amazing artwork, especially for the cards, which makes me wonder, do you guys ever plan on doing physical cards that people are able to collect?
That's a great question, and that was still a secret. But yeah, we are in the long term. Let's say we are planning to release not only like collectible cards, but actually a board game based on Legends of Elysium, where you have not only the cards but also the board and all of the other aspects. But that is a plan for probably the next year, late in the next year, or maybe a bit later.
Yeah.
But I can tell a sneak peek that we are also looking into like a phygital trend, the connecting the NFTs with some physical items. So we're looking closely into that, and we have something already prepared behind the scenes, but I cannot share what it is yet, but I'm sure that the community will love it.
Nice. I love when NFTs connect back to the physical world. So that should be really cool to see. I was reading your latest Medium article, I believe, that you put out in November, and you had mentioned that you guys were going to be helping balance your game, working with artificial intelligence. I guess first, do you want to talk a little bit about that? What do you guys plan on doing with that?
Yes. So for the short-term plan, the AI simulator is already being implemented. It can already process around 10. We already processed 10,000 games using the cards. But we are still, tweaking it and adding new features on top of that, ensuring that all the skills work properly, and so on and so on. So once everything is working correctly, we will try to balance the game to ensure that none of the cards is too overpowered or underpowered. Because this is very important aspect in card and board games at the same time.
Yeah.
In the past, I've been helping to balance and test some prototypes of different card and board games. So now using AI, this process is extremely fast. Once you write the proper algorithm and let the AI learn, that brings you the benefit of playing, let's say, 10,000 games, virtual games, within one day, for example. And that gives you data that you need to properly balance the game and balance the cards. Because if let's say a common card is stronger than legendary card, then something is not right. Yeah. So we need to ensure that all of the aspects are correct. So this is the first of the things that we're planning to do with the AI in the short term perspective. In the longer perspective, we're planning to also use the AI self-learning bot to different types of, let's say, modes within the game. So, for example, maybe in adventure mode, where single player campaign takes you through some kind of a storyline, that would be a perfect place to implement, a smart AI bot that would actually be a challenge for the players to play against. So, for the longer perspective, we are looking towards that as well.
That would be good, especially for new players getting on to learn how to play. You don't want to just get thrown into the gauntlet and just get thrown down by some guy that's been playing for years, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, exactly. But to ensure that, we also have an algorithm that will not match you with the veteran with level 50 when you're just starting on level 1 and you never played before. We have like this small range from level 1 to 5, let's say, that would most likely match you first with someone who's completely new to the game as well, or at least not very good. So you have equal chances.
Yeah.
And of course, as you progress, the level and the skill that you need to have would need to increase. So basically, the algorithm will be basing the opponents based on the skill as well as their levels, to ensure it's quite matched, and no one feels underprivileged.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I just thought about this when we were talking about physical cards and stuff. And it made me think of CSGO. Like when you open up a weapon crate in CSGO, you could get like, a knife that is like battle hardened, like it's been used, or you could get a factory new. Do you guys plan on adding any type of just like collector rarities to the cards where I guess people can see how many times it's been played in a match, or if a card has never been played and it's just like a brand new card?
We are definitely planning to add something, let's say, to add the collectible value to the cards itself. So the cards that we have at the moment are standard ones, but we're planning to add cards that would be very rare based on their look, let's say. So they would have different, maybe different frame or something like this. And getting them, of course, they would have the same skill as the card with a different look, but they would add this additional value from the collector's perspective. And to the looks, because to get them you have a slight chance, but once you get them, they look awesome, for example. Besides that, we have some plans to introduce weapons that can be tweaked. So there would be cards that are items, but that will come in one of the next expansions. And then those items could be tweaked using different gems that you will be able to find within the game. So if the item is giving you some bonus, you can tweak that bonus by adding different gems and modifying it with it. So that would also ensure that those items, each of them is different, because that would depend on the gems that the player used, on the strength of the gem and stuff like this. So yeah, we definitely have like long-term plans, but at the moment we are focused mostly on developing, the MVP. Once that's delivered, we will be adding all of our ideas. We have all of them, written down, planned in our GTD, and they are just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I can't wait to see, when betas start launching, I mean, I'm not too big into playing card games, but I love trying out different Web3 games. So I'll definitely try to play your guys' beta for sure. Anyone watching the stream, where should they go to get updated on all your guys' latest information?
So the best place probably would be our Discord, but of course the first stop would be going to our website. So just legendsofelysium.io, and there you have links to all of our social medias. You can visit us and join on our Discord or Telegram, whichever you prefer. So that would probably be the best way, and also following us on Twitter, where we post most of our important updates. Could help. And if you want to dive deeper, then probably Medium. So yeah, those are the main places.
All right. Make sure you guys check those out. We are coming up almost an hour on the show. I think all the questions I've asked. If there's anything you feel like I missed that you would like to talk about, I guess you think I missed anything?
I think we covered a lot of the topics, I would say.
Yeah.
So nothing comes to my mind that I'd like to add. Well, maybe just a sneak peek that the trailer is in the making, let's say. So it's gonna come at some point once we finish, tweaking it up, polishing, and another aspect that we're working on is the music. We already, shared a small sneak peek of the music that has been composed on our Twitter, but the soundtrack is being composed behind the scenes, and we love it as far as we got it at the moment. So we're waiting for the final pieces, and we will be good to go with the soundtrack as well. So the game is not only the game itself, but the music is what sets the mood and the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Music can definitely be iconic when it comes to games, so it is a big part of it. Well, I mean, Skylark, I appreciate you coming on today to chat with me.
I appreciate your invitation, and I hope we can do something like this in the future again.
Yeah, definitely. When you guys, I guess once the beta's out and we're able to play the game and others have played the game, would definitely love to have you guys back on the show.
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys, like I said, check out legendsofelysium.com, follow them on Twitter, join their Discord, read the Medium articles. Make sure you guys are following SandStorm on Twitter, join our Discord as well. And have a great rest of your weekend. I don't want to keep anyone else for your time. I appreciate it. And we'll be live again on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern time.